Hey guys, this is Matthew Gardner here, and I want to share with you a quick video on relationships and how to have the most transformative, magical experience inside the context of a relationship with your soulmate. So I was doing a seminar last week on discovering your authentic relationship, and it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed sharing the information. And what I shared specifically was this three-step formula to transformation and having a great relationship overall and transforming any moment that may bring up some form of negative emotion or thought pattern and transform it or transmute it into something greater, into something more authentic. So the formula itself is three steps, and I call it the triple A formula. So it's awareness, acceptance, arrangement equals transformation. And I'm going to break down each step. It's derived originally from traditional psychotherapy, and it's done me a world of good in just becoming more authentic for myself and overall in life. And with my soulmate Gail, it's just been a phenomenal tool. So I'm going to share this with you. I'm going to give a real-world application so that you can actually use it. Obviously, that's where the rubber meets the road, and I think that if you apply this, I feel that if you apply this, think and feel if you apply this, you're going to get a huge benefit. So, again, I'll start from the beginning with awareness. Awareness is all about bringing attention to something that isn't quite synchronized for you, isn't quite aligned for you with being authentic. So in the context of this formula, it's really about bringing awareness to like a negative feeling or a negative emotion. And what I mean by that is it can just be like a thought that is somehow doubting or fearful or negative, generally thoughts, mental things you'll feel it up here. And it's just causing some form of disconnect with your partner. When I talk about bring awareness to the feelings, you'll feel it more, might feel it in the chest or the solar plexus or anywhere in the core. And it might be like a fear or a frustration or some form of anger. It might be a sadness, any kind of lower or negative emotion, or just call them inauthentic emotions from the standpoint that they don't really serve you if you hold on to them, right? Obviously, they serve you in the sense that you're able to bring awareness to, okay, something's not on track here. Now I can do something about it because now I know, now I have awareness. The second component is acceptance. So after you've brought awareness to this kind of fearful thought or emotion, or whether it's, just getting angry or frustrated or irritated because of what's happening in the circumstance, in this context with your partner, maybe he or she said something and it activated you. It brought up something in you that brought in that kind of little childish demeanor within you. Reading the book by Gary Zukov called Spiritual Partnership, and he talks about, getting out of your comfort zones really when that little undeveloped childish part of you doesn't want to grow up, and it's getting challenged or activated by something that's happening outside of it. So it's really not that your partner's doing this to you in any way. It's simply that there's some kind of unhealed emotion within you, and it's now being brought to the surface. That's the awareness, and then the acceptance is to just be like, oh yeah, I'm just at peace with this, or bringing a form of acceptance or letting go to it from the standpoint that you're able just to love it and accept it and realize that it is what it is, meaning like, it's not anything that I got to make up a story about. It's not anything to blame about. I'm not a victim of anything. I'm totally free and totally liberated, and I always have the opportunity to choose how I want to respond to these feelings and emotions. And the reason why that's so significant is because that's about taking 100% responsibility and taking ownership of your life. You always have total authority over your life and every experience that you have. And when you really realize that, then you can truly accept those feelings and thoughts that seem to come up and maybe temporarily throw you off track, but it becomes easier and easier to realign yourself with your authenticity and just become a greater and greater spiritual being while having the human experience, of course. So you have awareness, acceptance, and the final A in the formula for transformation is arrangement. So once you've brought peace to something, then it's all about, okay, now that I'm at peace with this emotion and this situation that's come up between me and my partner, how can I arrange this in a way that's now going to be more productive for me and enable progression for both of us? And of course, ultimately, it's about becoming our greatest and best and most authentic self, and we're in the partnership to allow our partner, our mate, to grow and evolve as well. So it's a win-win when you use this formula, both for yourself and your partner and for every other area of your life. So when you arrange something, basically it's like taking a glass of water from the desk and moving it from one place to the next. And all that really means is that rather than paying attention to the problem, you're now paying attention to the solution. You've arranged the circumstance in your mind and from your perception in a way that makes sense to you and is productive and profitable for you and for your partner. So here's a specific example that I personally experienced. With Gail, I'm a big fan of a spiritual text called A Course in Miracles. Love it, studied it for many years. I think it really encourages the level of authenticity in myself, and it kept me on track. However, Gail, it just doesn't really resonate with her. And, I spent many times sharing with her my insights about it and reading from the book to her, and she's just not really into it. And, I was really beating myself up about this for a while and being like, oh, what am I doing wrong? Or why isn't she getting it? Or, all these things. And those would facilitate, or rather, those would be good examples of the negative emotions and thoughts about it, right? So after contemplation, and it's been a process, this has come up a few times, and I've made peace with it and put it aside, and then it's come up again, and I made peace with it and put it aside. I've made the decision just to permanently put it on the shelf, though, just as kind of a precursor to the whole, as part of the story here. But the bottom line is, I had the awareness that, there's something here that isn't quite resonating in our conversation. And rather than really dwelling on it and getting frustrated by it, initially I felt quite frustrated and confused and just wondering why is it resonating? Why aren't we connecting this way? But I brought it back to the fact, I can be at peace with this. I don't have to change Gail to have a better relationship, because this is actually telling me about my life and what's inside of me on an emotional, mental level. And how can I bring that to a greater space of light and authenticity? So by being at peace with that and putting it aside, that's the arrangement part, now I have the opportunity to pay attention to something that's more productive. And what that is in reality here is just, there's 1,000 other things that me and my soulmate Gail can absolutely connect with. I always like to say, when I think about Gail, she's just such an amazing person, and it's such a great journey to have this type of spiritual connection with her, and highly recommend the Spiritual Partnership book by Gary Zukav, of course. And when you're inside that space of arrangement and you find a way to connect on a deeper level, then that's transformation. That's becoming your most authentic self. That's having that real power for yourself and for your partner, and allowing them to grow and evolve, and not superimposing your thought system onto the way they should live their life. This whole idea about having this cookie cutter image of what the world should be. When we release that and again bring peace to it and arrange our mind in a different way and start to have a greater sense of openness and clarity and understanding, then suddenly things just work. And of course, you can apply this to more than just relationships. You can apply this to your business. You can apply this to just your overall health and body. And obviously, each of these areas, it's slightly different, but the general concept is the awareness, the acceptance, And the arrangement equals transformation. And I guarantee that upon applying this formula, trying it out, test it out for a week or 2 weeks or a month, just whenever you think of it, or make it more conscious and write it down and make a real intention of using it, you'll find that you just have a greater sense of peace about life, and you'll find that you're able to arrange the circumstances in your life in a way that enable progression and enable profitability and enable productiveness in your relationships, in any area at all. And that's really what it's all about, is how do I have a greater sense of joy and harmony and balance and prosperity and magnificence in my life. So I encourage you to try out the formula, the AAA formula. Again, my name is Matthew. Please comment or like the video, and if you have questions, send me your feedback, because it's such a magnificent joy to share this type of information with you. And I look forward to hearing from you. And until next time, take care.